Hi, this is Trinity, and this is part 3 of why I feel mental hospitals don't help. Okay, so there is this young man who's was a friend of my daughter's, and he suffers from mental illness. And any conversation a normal person would have with this boy, you can tell he has a deficit. He requires um, some special care, in my opinion. And I really care about this young man, and I hope someone steps in. I'm not close enough to be able to help him, and I feel for the boy. So here's the story of what happened. Um, this young man cut his arms. He slashed his arms very deeply in front of my daughter. I think this is maybe a year, maybe 2 years ago. I don't know, my time frame's all fuzzy. But so my daughter called law enforcement because he cut real deep, and so I want to break down this process in these situations of all of the different community resources, all the different agencies that are involved in this kind of an incident, and all the resources that are going to this kind of situation, and talking in the discussion about mental health and mental health services, and how we can create and design a better system. So here we go. First, we have law enforcement showing up and on the scene, and then we have the EMTs, the ambulance ride to the ER, where he's treated in the ER for his injuries, and he's bandaged up, and then he's transported in another vehicle about out of county, like a 2-hour drive. That's a very expensive transport, in my opinion. And then he's at a psychiatric hospital. And so he's in this psychiatric hospital, and he is a frequent flyer. He's been in and out of these systems for years. Okay, I think they know him. And then this is 20. This is maybe less than 24 hours that he's been through all of these agencies. All of these resources have come in contact with this young man who has just gashed his arms severely, and it is obvious that he has a mental defect, and he has a deficit. He's a very sweet, caring young man, and he deserves some help. He deserves some services that he's not getting in this system. So the psychiatric hospital, it's been 24 hours. They put him in an Uber, 2 hours home. They pay for his Uber ride to go home. And of course they have, some sort of like resources to refer him to get help. But in his case, he needs a caseworker. He needs somebody that's holding his hand and making sure he's going to where he needs to be, obviously. And I can't see why nobody has intervened in his case. It's disgusting. Okay. Now, here's another issue that this brings up. Now, if the court steps in and takes away, some of his rights to keep him safe here, I think that's appropriate in this situation. And there's a lot of situations where this would be appropriate. The problem there is people are so fearful of losing their rights that I think that this is not happening in the cases where it needs to happen, because there's so much fear that people have about, losing their rights and, disappearing into a mental hospital. And I understand that fear is very valid. Very, very valid. And so, yeah, I just wanted to go down that, because that whole incident was very disturbing for me, and I wish there was more I could do for this young man. But, I'm not a family member. I'm not that close to him anymore, and it's just like, I've learned my lesson. Trying to, get involved in other people's problems, it doesn't work out for me. I try to be helpful, and I just kind of, booger things up, so I'm not going to do that. But my point here in going down the breakthrough of all of the different agencies and resources and money that happened in each contact that this young man came in contact to, all of those different resources, and that's a lot of money that's not really helping him long term. And it's incredibly frustrating for me to see that. I want to see a different approach to mental health, especially for individuals that aren't capable of helping themselves. You know, it's a harder, I'm active and participating in my own mental health, and it's a very different thing when someone has mental health issues and they're not willing to get help. And that can lead to, jail, homelessness, severe drug addiction. It leads to other things. And then we have to treat all this other stuff. I mean, I want to see people to see a different picture about mental health. And so I hope that I have contributed something useful to this debate. Thank you.